Thanks everyone for coming. So I work for a company called Blippar. Blippar is an augmented reality company, but not really competing in the hardware space. I think so far you guys have seen a lot of hardware things going on, and people are testing on the different hardware products. Blippar is really into building an augmented reality ecosystem, building the AR content, and having this more sustainable, like a Blippar spew, that's what we call it. And we are currently focusing on visual discovery, so we're calling it the Internet on things, not Internet of things. So I'm going to show you what that means. When I try to describe to people I work for an AR company, they always think about science fiction. And the first image that they always think about is just this image, or Minority Report. It's so cliche. So for me to explain to them what AR really means, and now it's getting a little easier. I think in the last couple of months, you have seen a lot of press about what AR and VR is doing in the tech space. But actually, it has been around for 64 years. It is not a new technology. It's a technology that's been existing for a long time. Back to the very, very beginning, 1957, someone designed this thing called a sensorama, and I'm sorry I forgot his name here. Okay, so what he did is he designed this machine where you can put your head in there and watch a film, and then they will have some augmented sensations, such as they will feel water mist hitting on your face when you watch the water splashing in the film. You can smell aroma, and it is like an augmented reality machine that you have to sit down and experience it. Fast forward a little bit. This is our very first head-mounted display. And as you can see, this display looks kind of horrific. And it's actually so heavy that they have to use a suspender that held up in the ceiling because it's so heavy that you cannot just put it on your head, it will crush your head. So we had actually came a long way. Steve Mann is really a pioneer of modifying and pioneering in this wearable technology, making this not too intimidating. What does it mean to human? What does it mean to us when you can have this thing with you all the time? And of course, when we reach the maturity of AR, this is what you're seeing daily, that in a sense, this is newly released in the CES, that you can fit this type of device in your regularly on your face, that you would not look different than anyone else around you. And also, with the introduction of AR, augmented reality, we are going towards a screenless future. Seamless future. That it actually changes your interaction. We no longer need a device to provide you with the UI, because anywhere can be a UI as long as you have a lens. Whether or not it's an implant, it's a device on your face, on your hand, it doesn't really matter, but with this AR technology, it changes your interactions in the environment. So the pace of AR really speeds up in the last couple of years due to the prevalence of smartphones. If you think about it, it has been around for 64 years. Why has it only picked up in the last couple of years? That's just due to the technology advancement. I want to talk briefly about the hype cycle, not really into the details, but it kind of goes into a trend like this. It started with a technology trigger. It started with someone's research paper, hey, I found out this technology, and then it starts generating this hype. Oh, this is going to be the next big thing. This is going to be so cool, so important. And all of a sudden, you build up all these expectations, and then you drop because the product itself does not really meet what people are expecting. And that kind of goes through the thrall of delusionment. And then, before it hits the mainstream, it will go to another round of iteration for the slope of enlightenment. And then it goes to the plateau. That means things are really going to the mainstream. We can apply this in a lot of different technologies, such as voice recognition has gone through this cycle many times. And it's not just really one way. Sometimes it's like multiple ways before it goes to the mainstream. And this is what AR has been going through. It's really until 2008 that things has picked up again. Before that, 1957 to 2008, we were really trying to go through these different waves because people are not really catching on the trend. This technology is not really catching on. It's not really becoming a mainstream yet. So 2008 is where smartphone becomes a lot more prominent, and people are really latching onto this technology. And now AR, I believe that we're really coming out back in the mainstream. And we're going to be talking about what would make AR become a mainstream. Again, the prevalence of smartphone gave rise to AR. And because of the rise of AR, it's going to kill the smartphones. And that's why all these companies are really racing to invest in the AR and VR domain. Because if they're so focused on smartphone and these type of laptops, screen technology, AR is going to replace all of them because it's not going to be happening in the future. If the trajectory goes on, we're not going to have all these interaction. We're not going to have UI. The UI and the design is going to be so different. Blippar has been focusing a lot on advertising and brands. So just to give you a little background, Blippar has been around for 5 years. We are not really a trendy technology. We've been around for a long time. But the way we make money before was to partner with advertisements. So for example, Nike would come to us and say, hey, if someone blipped my tennis shoes, I want some really cool stuff come out of the screen and have a 3D experience, and they can play with it. So with this Lucky Charm, you can actually play games when kids are sitting around waiting for breakfast. They can blip the logo and start playing with it. So Blippar has actually become quite profitable that way. And that was our first wave of the business. This is another example of Rugby World Cup tickets that we did for them last year, that you can use that to navigate around the stadium. You see a 360 view. There's also some kind of really cool technology on it. I believe the breakthrough of AR to become mainstream, which is when it reached the plateau, is the moment when this kind of gimmicky magic becomes a practical day-to-day use. And this is something that we, as a designer or as design team, really believe in. It's not really about the feature or the gimmickiness or the coolness of AR. It's really how can we make this thing more utilitarian for everyday use. So step back a little bit. I want to talk a bit about big data and how big data is being collected these days. We have an exponential growth of big data being collected from all kinds of places. Social media, sensors, business transactions, your tweets, everything is big data. The surveillance cameras, footage, the volume of information that is generated by the Internet of Things. I see AR as providing a way, like a channel, for people to access or visualize information. So that these type of information or data can become digestible at bit size, and also it can be contextual. If you look at everyday objects, things around us, the chair, the cat, the water bottle, the lamp, everything has meta information around it. Mike Kuniansky called that information shadow. So every object has its own story. And I think it will be interesting for Blippar right now is going towards this direction, from going with branding and advertisement, which is really our bread and butter, and going towards really what is the future of AR? Can we use these type of objects to provide some kind of visual discovery, visual search? From accessing information to something more narrative, more poetic, and just giving you bit-sized information that can tap into people's curiosity. And what would that mean for us as users, as people in our daily lives? So I want to talk a bit about how AR works. We rely on trigger points in the real world. So in the very beginning, we rely on QR codes or AR tag. So every time when you see these tags, you try to like blip on it or scan it. But right now we have image recognition, and this is something that Blippar has been very focusing on. And we also have facial recognition and the GPS. Depending on where you are, I'm looking at a Van Gogh painting in this museum, so it gives me context of that painting at that time. Our current platform has 3 solutions. The first thing is what I just talked about, computer vision, which is when I point my phone or this device into an object, it will start generating keywords or visual data to me. This is our computer vision API. We also have a self-service AR creation, content creation. That means as a developer, you can create your AR experience, and put it into our Blippar platform and make it available to the public. We also have this Blip Builder, which everything is Blip to us. Blip Builder is really a tool, a creation tool for non-developers, general public, someone who just wants to be able to create a birthday card for my grandmother. I want her to be able to point at it and see the card that I create for her. And this is the tool that my team is creating right now. And of course, we have the custom solution, which is more based on brand and more customized experience. So then, to show you what it really means when you point to a dog, this is really what you see as keywords. It will show you this is a French dog. It has humor, it's a pet, what type of breed is it. If I have time, I can show you a demo. I don't know if I have time for that. This is another self-service AR content creation tool. This is the existing one. We're working on a new version right now. So again, we're trying to think about what does it mean for people to design an AR experience. Does it mean animation for them? Does it mean buttons? Or what does it really mean? So we're really designing emerging technology that doesn't even have a user base. And the third thing is customization. This is a customization solution for education. So as you can see, this kid is trying to blip a volcano and then understanding how a volcano works. So it is very interesting how people can use it in the classroom or even outside the classroom. From information to narratives, the act of exploration is driven by a human nature of curiosity and desire of knowledge. So let's say if I see a Starbucks, if I buy a Starbucks bottle like right here, what can I actually learn about it? Yes, of course I can learn more about Starbucks and its history, but then when I start seeing the different keywords, maybe I'm interested in clicking into Seattle, or maybe I want to learn about its founder, or maybe I want to learn about coffee beans. And let's just say coffee beans. From coffee bean, I go to sustainable farming. From sustainable farming, I go to global warming. And then somehow I get into something more political, and then I end up making a donation to the political campaign. That would be the first journey of user A. Another user can come into here, flip the same thing, but then I have a different journey. I want to tap on Howard Schwartz, Shoes, which is the founder, and then from the founder, they click on business, and then they can click on he bought a basketball team, and then ended up buying a basketball ticket. So two very different. Users' journey are becoming something that we can measure. It's a measurable matrix that Blippar can provide. The relations of products, objects, and location are now become measurable. This is a huge deal for enterprise, for business, for small business. What is people's discovery pattern and behavior before their transaction? The pre-transactional experience data is something that we can really provide, and it is very interesting. We don't know what we can do with the data yet, but the data is available. Do I still have time? Okay. I want to talk about something other than the enterprise solution and whatnot. This is somewhat of a design vision. For augmented reality, right now it is an add-on experience, something that is just extra, something that is extra, not necessary. But what would the future look like if AR is a necessity for us? In the developing countries, mobile phone networks are cheaper than installed landlines. So they skip a whole generation of installing landlines. That creates a really interesting phenomenon, because then people are start using airtime as an alternative currency. This is in Afghanistan. It's by a researcher called Jan Chipchase. He realized that when people start dating, the guy would send airtimes to the loved ones and said, you can now talk to me. This is kind of your gift. So it's interesting how they're innovating in this space. And AR, if you think about it, how can they use AR in these type of developing countries? It is a very cheap alternative to install building infrastructure. Let's say I'm rich enough to buy a car, and there is no traffic lights around my country, but I can just get a $20 glasses or something, so that they can receive traffic-related information. Now the city will be able to gather data and control better traffic, and not needing to install very expensive infrastructure like the traffic lights. So as designers, we start generating all these questions, right? How does this impact the city planning? What kind of new social behavior will form? What kind of new businesses emerge? And always, as working in this type of emerging technology field, we have the responsibility to think about the implication of technology. It's not just the feature you're designing. It's about how it will affect the human behavior. It's gonna come back. How can us, as designers, see beyond making something useful and delightful? I am implementing a feature that is really cool. I'm making something that works in this product. Because we have the ability to provide a very critical perspective for both macro and macro view on products, and also to create and encourage these type of discussions. And beyond the artifacts of overlaying of the text, animation, and images, it's our curiosity, a strong motivation that is instinctively human. And the moment for AR to become widely accepted, like smartphones, like the Plateau, is the moment we can humanize the technology with design. Thank you.
Thanks, Carina. Any questions in the audience for Carina?
I have a question. You mentioned earlier the digital shadow. Can you give me an example of how digital shadow is used?
Information shadow?
Yeah.
Yes. So let me see if I can pull out this on my phone. Show you a demo of the Blippar app. Just a second. Technical glitches. Okay, here we go. I will give you a demo and hopefully that will be more clear what it means. And it doesn't work. Sorry. What happened is that I can point to the audience and they will tell me that this is indoor, this is give me keywords that these are indoors, these are professionals maybe, and then they can identify laptops and perhaps can see your Starbucks coffee. And then from that, it gives you relations of the object, relationship keywords that you can go off and change your journey and pick your path.
So it's not like if I kind of pointing or focusing on the chair,
Yeah.
and then it will give me the information,
Yes.
but detailed information of the chair.
The information of the chair and the relationship of it. It can say wood, it can say Danish, it can give you information of the chair designer. And think about the opportunity of, if I'm a chair company, I want to own one of those bubbles. It can become quite interesting.
Yeah, but the question is, how do they know it's a chair? So
we have image recognition technology, so we have a whole team of people working on recognizing different objects. We can recognize a banana, we can recognize a person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So meaning you can actually collab with implicit digital.
Yes, exactly. Cool. Yes?
But you need that chair manufacturer to create that shadow, right?
No,
You don't
actually.
have metadata.
If it's a generic object like a chair or a sofa, anything like that, we'll give you generic keywords. And let's say you want people to be able to have an AR experience, you can use one of these tools or a customized solution to have something that pops out.
That's what the toolkit comes.
Yes, exactly.
So who else will have access that, you're looking around and you're seeing Starbucks and Apple laptops,
Right.
professionals. Who else has access to that information as you're looking around?
Who else has access to the information?
Is it shared?
No. Right now, we collect those data. I mean, of course, if you as an augmented reality creator, then you will have that information because how many people have blipped my object, how many people interact with it, which country, what is the interaction behavior. Yeah, so the data belongs to the creator too.
Any other questions? Nope, upstairs? Nope. Okay, then thank you, Carina.